I'm taking y'all in a slightly new direction. We are still in medieval times. However, what's this behind the scenes? Oh, that's dope. So yeah, what's gonna happen now is we're going to begin learning about the Vikings and get into Europe a little bit, right? We just wrapped up our time in Baghdad, and now it's time to make our way west into the Western world or the European world. Right after the Romans fall, I believe this is going to take us into the 800s now, right? Just like we were in the 800s in Baghdad, we're still in the same time frame, except we're in Europe. I had originally thought I was going to take this to East Asia until I realized that I didn't even go through the Europe game at all, the Valhalla. So I'm excited. Let me share this out so people can see that I'm live, and we're gonna do some live learning, live virtual learning about the Europeans. All right. So there's that. There's so much to go through, man. So much to get to. We could start here. What's up, Spiderface? I'm taking you guys to Europe, man. Learn about the damn Europeans. This is gonna be filled with war and lore. War and lore. Look at the categories we got: war and politics, daily life, religion and magic, myths and legends, science, law and justice, art and culture, trade and economy. Right? So, just alone the fact that we got a category for myths and legends lets you know what type of people we're dealing with. Myths, legend, religion, and magic. To be correct. I'm excited, man, because my knowledge grew so much of the Arabs in the Middle East, and now I'm about to get the same type of knowledge with the Europeans. Oh man, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna know my history. So let's do it, man. Let's do it. We'll start right from the top. Or where should we start? Law and justice? Do we want to go into law and justice? You know what? I kind of do, for the simple fact that law is something I've been studying a lot. So, without further ado, you guys want to learn about law and justice? Where do we want to start with war and politics? Let's start with war and politics. Why not? We're going to go right into the war and politics. So what we got here is a reconstruction of the Sutton Hoo helmet, 7th century. This is in a British Museum, London, United Kingdom. Okay, so this is a reconstruction. It's not an original. But this would be from the 7th century, right? What do we got to say? Military leadership. Anglo-Saxon armies were not led by a single general. I didn't know that. So Anglo-Saxon armies were not led by a single general. Each warband had more than one leader, and at least one of them would take up a position behind their army to supervise the battle. Okay, we're dealing with the Anglo-Saxons. It may also have been mandatory to have another leader on the front line, well placed to lead by example. A commander who would get his hands dirty with the rest of his men was a source of inspiration and morale, two key qualities that kept armies fighting against unfavorable odds. This artifact is known as the Sutton Hoo helmet. Some scholars believe it belonged to King Redwald of East Anglia, allegedly a strong military leader. Okay, so they're saying that This artifact belonged to a king in East Anglia, but it's meant to represent, it's reconstructed from the 7th century. Okay. So kin and household. I think I went into this a little bit. So what we got here? This is the Hillers stone in Sweden in the 11th century. And man, just their culture overall is interesting. And I want to see if we could find any overlaps between their culture and other cultures that we've studied. So let's go into it. So kin and household. Family members shared more than blood. They were bound together by a spirit called the Hamingya. The Hamingya was responsible for the prosperity and luck of the family. Family mattered more than on a spiritual level. It also defined a person in the eyes of the law. Rules about landholding, inheritance, and more were all centered around the family rather than the individual. Now listen to this. A person who did not know their lineage or ancestry was not legally recognized. It was common practice to honor one's kin, whether living or dead, by engraving their stories and deeds on rune stones like this one. So the part that stands out to me is a person who did not know their lineage or ancestry was not legally recognized. Wow. Wow. And that's powerful. That just goes to show the emphasis and value that they put on the family. Right? If you don't know your ancestry, you have no rights. This is what they're saying. And I wonder what was the process of that. You know, how did they vet that? But overall, it's still interesting, right? Let me drop the Discord just in case anyone want to join. I'm going to be pushing that Discord. Alright, so let's keep it pushing. Now, this is called the Felag or Fellowship. And what we got here is the Aarhus Stone 5 in Denmark. 970 to 1020, somewhere in that time frame. This is in the National Museum of Denmark in Copenhagen. Okay, so we got another stone, rune stone. Let's see what this is about. Okay, the Felag or fellowship. The English word fellowship, and here's why this is also important to study, you guys. We are speaking a language that comes from this regional group of people. So I think it behooves us to know a little bit about the culture in that region and the beliefs of the people in that region, to know their history as well, right? I think it would make sense. We only kind of look at it in the American context, but I like to study right before you get the United States. And this is why I go into medieval, so we could see what led up into the period of history that we're in now. So here we go. The English word fellowship came from the word felag. Felags were formed for a number of reasons, including building a boat or funding a sea voyage. A married couple could also be referred to as a felag. Okay? A felag was like a second family. Each felagi, or felagi, it's probably felage, each felagi, or member of the fellowship, protected his companions and their interests. If a felagi was killed, one of his fellows would avenge him, take care of his funeral arrangements, and honor his memory by immortalizing him in a rune stone. This rune stone was erected by 3 surviving members of a felag to commemorate their partner, whom they called the most unvillainous of men. So this is like I don't want to say it's like pouring out liquor. It's more like, all right, when someone die in the hood, right? People go and spray paint on the wall like R.I.P. such and such, you know, or like close to the spot that they died and then put their name. To me, it kind of reminds me of something like that. Like the people of the neighborhood or the gang or whatever will come and pay a tribute, make a memorial of that person. So I don't want to always compare something to a gang, but I think gang does have a negative context. A Falaj, I mean, it kind of seems like it says it's a second family, right? And you know, for a lot of people in these underserved neighborhoods, the gang is their second family. So that's all I could really compare it to from my context, tell y'all the truth. So that was interesting though. So we know what the Falaj is, the fellowship. So that's all I got unlocked for war and politics. Y'all see I only got 3 out of 32. We're going to be going in on this. For at least the next month or 2 months, I'm going in. We're going to get this European Viking history, Anglo-Saxon history, all of it. We could go into daily life. Let's see what I got for religion and magic. I remember reading this, but let's go into this. Hamingya, a family spirit. Luck could be shared with family and friends, but it had its limits. The Hamingya had to be treated with care and respect. If a person or family behaved badly, their luck could turn and their prosperity end. Legends said that the Hamingya often appeared as a giant ghostly woman like this one created in concept art. So Spiderface says the brotherhood. Yeah, exactly. So this Hamingya, this family spirit thing, it's like a there's an element of karma, like karmic justice in it. Like if a person or a family behave badly, their luck could turn and their prosperity end. You know, there's that, what's the word I'm looking for? Superstition around behavior. Doing good versus doing bad. There's a superstition around it. So that's the Hamingya, the family spirit. And we also seen Hamingya mentioned in this one here, the Kenan household, right? The family, they were bound together by a spirit called the Hamingya. They shared more than just blood. So we see an overlap right there. What about science? And I should probably move in an order so I don't get too confused about what I done read and what I didn't read. I'm gonna go into science though. Wow, look at this. An excerpt of the Old English Orosius mentioning the name of Othera of Halogaland, 11th century. So this is Old English. And this is very fitting because I was going to do a live stream tonight going into Othello, you know, the tragedy written by Shakespeare, the tragedy of Othello. So I'm really glad that just organically I found my way into European history right now. Early medieval European history. Well, maybe not so early. The Romans fall in the 400s, and then we get this period, which we call the medieval period. So I guess probably from 400 to 800 is considered early medieval. But most of this stuff is probably found right in medieval. So an excerpt of the Old English Orosius mentioning the name of Othere of Halogaland. So let's see what this is about. The navigator. The Old Norse. In Norse, see, I gotta remind myself the distinction between Norse, Dane, and Viking. Norse is a region, like Nordic, I believe, which would be Scandinavia, Denmark, up in that region, the northern region. Dane were a specific group of people. The Danes, the Danish, Denmark. And then Viking it could be used as a verb. It could it could be used as a noun, and maybe even adjective. Right? What's good, Azim Shabazz? What's up, brother? Azim, I'm switching gears, man. We're learning about these Europeans right now. We're learning about the Europeans, the Vikings, and all of that. Medieval Europe. So the Old Norse term for the navigator was, I can't even read that, y'all. That looks crazy. It looks like Leosa Gumayor. Leosa Gumayor. I can't even read that, to keep it real with y'all. That's probably Old English or Latin or some weird shit. He was the guide, right? The navigator obviously was the guide. I can't read the term. I think it's Leosa Gumayor or some shit like that. He was the guide. That is a man. Mayor. Okay, so mayor means man in whatever language that is. He was the guide. That is a man gifted with great knowledge of the route. Leo Saga. Oh, I see the saga root in there now. The spelling changed from the original, but now I see that saga. And we know about the sagas when they would go on their trips to what they called Vinland, Greenland, Iceland, right? And then they would write about it in those sagas. So with great knowledge of the route, Leo Saga, the Leosoga Mayor knew which path, Leo, so path is Leo in that word. The Leosuga Mayor knew which path, or Leo, was the fastest or least risky. Other of Halogaland, a Norse seafarer, is a prominent example of a navigator. He recounted many of his trips to King Alfred of Wessex, circa 890 CE, providing the Christian world with a more comprehensive knowledge of the North and its people. Here is an excerpt of the Old English Orosius, chronicling the beginning of Othere of Halogaland's journey in the north. So I gotta find who this person is. He seems like he's a let me wrench you up, Azim. You've been showing support. You've definitely been showing support. Come through. Alright, just wrenched you up. So what's his name? Othere. Let me see if I can find him. Othere of Halogaland. I found him. He was Norwegian. So here we go. I'm dropping this in the Discord, in the history section, just so my peoples, in case they ever get curious and just want to look through some stuff, that's where it is right there. Alright, so that was the only thing I got for science unlocked right now. We could go into the myths and the legends. Let's go into the myths and the legends. Oh, you know what? I read these already. But you know what? Let's go to animal taboos. Let's go. So what we have here is a bronze weather vane shaped like a horse. Circa the Viking age. This is in the National Museum of Denmark in Copenhagen. So a bronze weather vane shaped like a horse. Let's see what this is about. Animal taboos. As a matter of fact, modern archaeology has proven that horses and other taboo animals were included in Scandinavian traditions, such as the Icelandic settlement. This scientific reality might seem to suggest that the taboo against mentioning or ferrying farm animals aboard a ship was not taken seriously. Alright, so we just identified what the damn taboo was. Apparently, there was a taboo amongst mentioning or bringing farm animals on ships. You are not supposed to do that. Alright, here we go. However, when it comes to studying the beliefs of ancient cultures, it helps to be cautious. Many practices which were logical at the time may seem to be contradictory when seen through a modern lens. Hold on. Okay, we gotta slow that down a little bit. We gotta slow that down. When it comes to studying the beliefs of ancient cultures, see, I don't look at this as ancient. I gotta figure out what is considered ancient. Is it over 1,000 years? I guess if it's over 1,000 years, it's ancient, right? What? Let me look this up. What is considered ancient in history? Okay, so in historical terms, ancient refers to a period of time encompassing the earliest recorded human civilizations, generally starting with the development of writing around 3000 BC and ending with the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD. Okay. Marking the beginning of the Middle Ages. So 476 is that seemingly cutoff. Anything 476 and prior is considered ancient. This, I don't know how ancient this is, but here we go. So if one accepts that maritime taboos were at the time logical and real for Scandinavian people, one needs to consider the other archaeological discoveries in that context. One possible theory that could account for both the existence of animal taboos and the archaeological evidence of horses aboard ships is that these taboos could be ritually challenged. Scandinavians might have been able to counteract the bad luck by breaking the taboos on purpose. Okay, hold on. I see how I kind of see what they saying. Okay. Weather vanes were used to know the direction of the wind. This knowledge was fundamental, even vital, to seafarers. It is therefore astounding that this weather vane was made in the shape of a horse, a land animal that should have been taboo to speak of on board of a ship. What I'm starting to think is all these things that we call like magical or superstitions, this is early technology, essentially, right? This is the technology of their time. This is what they had. This is their technology. This is their innovation. That's what I'm starting to get from this. All right, I don't want to get into okay, to see a spiritual being. I'm gonna go back into these myths and legends a little bit later. Let's go into art and culture. Let's touch on these rune stones. Runes and rune stones. The Old Norse rune means secret or esoteric knowledge. Runes made up the Futhark, the runic alphabet. Oh, okay. Each rune had a unique meaning. For example, the rune Wunjo, engraved on this little bloodstone, is the letter W, as well as the rune of joy and kinship. That's W. Wow, okay. They're saying this is W. Looked like a P to me. You know what I'm saying? It looked like a capital P to me. But they're saying this is Wunjo, or the letter W. Alright. As with all written words, runes could carry memories and histories into the future. By engraving them in stone, the Scandinavians ensured their stories would endure. Rune stones told a wide variety of stories. They could also honor people and events. Sometimes women would order a rune stone engraved to commemorate the courage of their husbands and sons who perished in battle or at sea. That's dope. So they did a lot of commemorating with these stones. Stones were used to commemorate the dead. I'm gonna be going into this European history, man. Y'all gonna catch on to it. Y'all gonna catch on. I'm gonna start bringing this shit out. I'm gonna bring it out. Y'all gonna catch on to it. We ain't gonna be doing Muslim, Arabic, everything, man. Gotta switch it up a little bit. That's one thing about me. I'ma switch it up. We're not gonna be in a box, man. I refuse. I'll get bored way too easily. We gotta go to different places, man. Alright, the North Way. So this is the artistic map of the Vestfold, Norway, depicting the royal estates of Harald Fairhair along the North Way in the 9th century. Alright, the North Way. A cargo ship following the North Way would leave the Oslo Fjord, cross the Skagerrak Strait. So where's that strait at? So a strait, it could be this maybe, I don't know, because that's a strait, right? A pathway between two land masses that goes all the way through. And this is why I got to go back into that video that helps us with the geological terms and whatnot, if that's the right word. A cargo ship following the North Way would leave the Oslo Fjord, cross the Skagerrak Strait, and into the North Sea. It would then hug the Atlantic coast to the North Cape, eventually arriving at the White Sea. To maintain power, kings needed to keep wealth flowing to their allies and followers. Controlling part of the North Way could help a king to keep the riches coming and keep his followers happy. These holdings allowed the young King Harald to dominate the trade route and rise to great political and social power. The map depicts the estates held by Harald Fairhair along the North Way. So I got to get his name too. Harald Fairhair. Harald Fairhair. Alright, I already found him. And they even got his family tree. Drop that in the Discord. Boom. Alright, here we go. That's him right there. This map depicts the estates held by Harald Fairhair along the North Way. So A is the Norwegian coast, or Norway. 1, Ligra. 2, Seim. 3, Erlda. 4, Alrekstad. Alrekstad, wow, okay. Fitjar is 5. Utstein is 7. And then B over here, the British Isles. Alright, so you got Norway, you got the British Isles. Now let's go into destinations of the voyagers. So what we got here is an engraving showing a scene of Portridge from the Historia de Gentibus Septentrionalibus by Olaus Magnus, 1555. So it's being carried by 5 men. Alright, here we go. Destination of the voyagers. Traveling by rivers and other interior waterways would have involved portaging. This is when sailors take the boat out of the water and transport it over land. Ah, okay. The Scandinavians would have used portage to avoid obstacles such as rapids or waterfalls, or to find and follow a new route. When possible, they would have carried the boat on their shoulders as represented here. Otherwise, they would have dragged it behind them as they walked. With their longships, Scandinavians sailed the Mediterranean and Black Seas. They journeyed to the White Sea and colonized Atlantic islands such as Iceland and Greenland. On their travels, they reached destinations as far east as Iraq and as far west as North America. Damn, the Scandinavians, they went far east as Iraq. So that's talking about Baghdad over there. They was moving. And that's why with the 2 games, because this is the other game now, there's like a crossover where Basim comes into Europe, but I don't think Eivor goes into. I didn't see Eivor in Baghdad though, but Basim does come to Europe, so we know there was cross-cultural contact, diplomacy, and so forth between the Westerners and what we call the Easterners, right? The Middle East and Europe. That's interesting right there. Laws and justice. Ooh, this one's gonna be good. I just got to be able to remember what I read. I'll remember what I read, actually. It won't be that hard to remember what I read. All right, so let's go into law and justice. Oh, look at this, huh? That looked biblical right there. Oh, man, this is going to be good right here because this is what they're known for. War, law, justice. All right, let's start with here. So apparently this is Greybeard and Thor. Illustrations by W.G. Collingwood from 1908. This is from the World History Encyclopedia. It's part of the public domain. Man-Jafnader. Man-Jafnader. Okay, a war of words. The Man-Jafnader, or the measure of a man, was a duel of words fought between an accuser and the man he had accused. If one man accused another of doing something wrong, the defendant could demand a Man-Jafnader to defend his honor. The Man-Jafnader was a boasting contest. The two men, in front of witnesses, would each brag about their deeds and exploits. If one of them lied about his deeds or showed a lack of confidence, he lost the contest. This was considered proof that he was dishonorable or at fault. The Man-Jafnader was not only for mortals. In one myth, Thor, the god of thunder, found himself in a boasting contest with a ferryman who refused to carry him across a fjord. Little did Thor know that the ferryman was in fact his father Odin in disguise. This made for an exciting war of words. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting right there. A Man-Jafnader. Let me find that. Man-Jafnader. Throw that in the Discord. So that will go maybe in maybe language. Yeah, we'll put that into language since nobody ain't been active in that language room. Alright, so I just dropped that in the Discord. So that's the Man-Jafnader, the War of Words. It almost reminds me of Fighting a little bit. So it says medieval Scandinavians were quick to defend their honor. Someone who felt disrespected could ask for a contest to determine who was in the right. In one such trial by combat, the Man-Jafnader, the weapons used were words. Alright? And I should have been reading these front covers. Runes were both magic symbols and alphabetic characters engraved on stone. They created rune stones. The Northway in 864 CE, many small kingdoms laid claim to the western coast of Scandinavia. They struggled for wealth and power, and many sought to control a valuable sailing route, the Northway. And then here we just read about the ancient Scandinavians explored a breathtakingly vast part of the world. While they showed remarkable skill at sailing on the open ocean, they preferred to travel by river instead of along the shoreline. Oh, okay, so they would go through rivers, pick the damn boat up, walk, drop it back in another river instead of following the ocean coast or the sea coast. All right, the Gothi or lawkeeper. Here we go. We're gonna go into this one. The Gothi was a leader of the community and held great social and political influence in medieval Scandinavian society. He presided over the Thing, the assembly where decisions on trade, war, and politics were made. Let's go into this. So we got here is an offering to Thor painted by Johann Ludwig Gebhard Lund from the 9th century. It's part of the Wikimedia Commons. All right. So this is an offering to Thor. So this is Thor right here. And obviously you see he got his hammer. So that's Thor. Alright, let's read on. The Gothi, or lawkeeper. The Gothi was a keeper of the law. He knew the rules of his society by heart and used his knowledge to guide its actions. His title, Gothi, from Goth, or God, might suggest he held a religious role. Now I gotta stop real quick. So Gothi sounds like it's related to Gothic, and they're saying this Gothi word is related to goo or God. I don't know what that second O sound makes, but that's related to the word God. While the medieval Scandinavians did not have priests like the Christians, the Gothi may have helped to oversee religious rituals, as seen in this painting. Scandinavians would have believed that the Gothi served the gods by knowing the law. Law was considered an instrument of order and harmony, just as the gods gave order to the universe. The Gothi's knowledge of law helped to keep the peace among the humans of his community. Damn, and I want to draw a comparison in the Islamic context. The Qadi would be the judge, but who would be the specialist, the legal specialist in the Islamic context? I gotta grab my book really quickly. Let me see. So in the Islamic context, the Gothi would be similar to man, who would he be similar to? The legal specialist. What's your name? Not the halakha. Maybe I didn't even come across a title for legal specialist, the legal specialist in the Islamic context, because I'm reading this book right now that breaks it all down. Man. So he's not a judge. He's not like the Qadi. He's not like the Qadi. So I guess I gotta just save that as a note for later. We'll save that one as a note for another time till I get the answer on that one. Ah, man. That's too bad. Okay. What else I want to go into? Manhelgi. So what we got here? The Hunningi stone. The Hunninge stone. 8th century. The Gotland Museum of Visby, Sweden. Okay, so this is from the 700s. Part of the 8th century. Manhelgi, a sacred space. The Norse believed that each person had a sacred, God's-given right to feel secure and at peace. A good way to understand Manhelgi is to think of it in terms of space. Each person's spirit was their own sacred place, like a temple. To attack or step into another person's space without asking was an act of trespass. It violated not only one person's boundaries, but the Manhelgi of all that person's ancestors as well. This meant any insult had to be answered quickly and decisively. This runestone depicts one such insult being answered. At the top, 2 men, possibly the heroes Sigurd and Gunnar, king of the Burgundians, are fighting each other to defend their honor and integrity. And you know what? I fucks with that. I feel that. They believe that each person had a sacred God-given right to feel secure and at peace. And that would be your sacred space, your spirit, your temple, which was not to be trespassed upon. So I respect that. I gotta find that too. So let's look this up. Menjelgi. Dang, so they got a whole Nordic lexicon that I'm finding on here. So let's drop that into language. Alright, just drop that in the Discord. Another Nordic word. Justice and honor. So again, to recap, Menhelgi was the Norse word used to describe a person's indestructible spirit. Helgi meant holiness, sanctity, security, and in a way, peace. To respect someone's Menhelgi was to respect the harmony and order of the universe itself. That, I like that. I really do. That's a unique idea, you know, that we don't have today. Really, we don't. I'm not gonna say we don't have the idea, but we don't frame it that way, the way they frame it. To respect another person's peace is to respect the order of the universe. I like that. So shout out to the Norse culture for having that concept. Alright, so we're going to justice and honor, and then I'm going to take a little break and play the game a little bit. Show y'all, you know, the scenery. So we could get out of just the scholarly. I'll show y'all some scenery as well. Justice and honor. Among ancient Scandinavians, harmony and social order relied heavily on people obeying the law. Honor, which is individual, familial, and even ancestral, determined what was considered just. So what we got here, we got the Hallestad Stone 1, 970 to 1020. It's in the National Museum of Denmark, Copenhagen. So honor was something ancient Scandinavians cherished, sometimes called Aor, meaning brightness. Honor was said to shine. This idea of honor as a visible quality that received its shape from the gaze of others was central to ostentatious displays of wealth or to bragging about successes in combat. Scandinavians engraved their memories in stone to make sure their reputations never died. Hey man, I respect the culture, man. I respect the culture. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna step outside.
I see. Do you? If he bests us, I will be at your mercy instead of you at mine. Can I trust you to speak on my behalf?
So this is some of the scenery, y'all.
Grudges as dearly as Vidar?
Christ demands we show others the mercy he has already shown us. You have nothing to fear from me, my lord.
Well, we shall
what y'all
see.
think? So I'm playing a friar right here. You see, you got the bald top of his head.
For many years.
Y'all see him?
How does he keep the loyalty
This
of
is the
his
culture.
men? After so many years of defeats, surely his soldiers would join another army.
And during this
King
time,
Alfred's role has been ordained by God.
Europe
To desert him
is
would be to
poor
go against divine
for the most part.
There are no contests of strength, no challenges to his rule.
Remember,
Would there be? He alone is destined to lead us until God
this is
chooses
after the
otherwise.
Romans fell
There may
and
be
Europe
something to
splits
this
up into all
religion of
these
yours
different
after all.
states. And it takes until about the year 1000 before they start to get back up on their feet. There's even Native Americans in this game. It's very interesting. So this is medieval Europe. After the fall of the Romans, there are a lot of Roman artifacts in this game as well. Alright, let's see what this is. What's going on with this right here. Nice game. Yeah, it's a nice game, Spiderface. It's a nice game.
What is going on here?
No. The relic. It's gone.
You get to see the culture.
I want every Saxon in this place searched head to toe.
Wait.
Remember your place, Saxon.
These people have been here since the siege began. They've no reason to steal, not now, and nowhere to flee if they did.
You accuse my men?
I accuse no one. Let me speak with those present. I will find the thieves.
No. You will return to your cell immediately. I will discover who is responsible before Alfred hears of it and decides to retake Chippenham by force.
What is that about?
One of these people must have seen something.
Okay, so I just unlocked a new learning entry. 2 of them. Alright, so let's go into it. So we just unlocked 2, just right there. So this is a part of war and politics now. War and politics. So Viking warfare. Medieval Scandinavian raiding parties and war bands were vicious in battle. Their prowess was less due to numbers or equipment than to cunning and tactics. They used carefully timed ruses and deception to distract and overwhelm their foes. So what is this? This is a part of the famous Quordal Viking Ord buried in 905. Lancashire, England. That sounds like Lancaster, which we have here in Massachusetts. So that's Lancashire. Just like we got a Manchester, New Hampshire, we got a Manchester, Connecticut. So maybe in England it's still Manchester or Manchester, right? Y'all know I live in New England, so there's gonna be similar overlapping place names. So this is from the Viking age here. Viking warfare. At the beginning of the so-called Viking age, Scandinavians wanted to acquire wealth like this hoard of silver items. However, not all Vikings were warlike. If riches could be acquired without combat, Scandinavians would happily take that route. During the settlement period, the Vikings ensured that their war bands were able to move swiftly and easily. This gave them a distinct advantage over larger groups that required logistical support. So this is spoils, maybe war booty, as they would call it. So that's a little bit on the warfare. Let's go deeper into Anglo-Saxon warfare. Anglo-Saxons relied, and I had this conversation with Truth, man. We were talking about what a white person is. We were talking about what a white person is. And I told him, from the North American context, which is the context and backdrop that we live in, we're mainly talking about the Anglo-Saxon, right? When we say that white dude, that white guy, he went on to say, well, no, even the, what's it called, where Khabib Nurmagomedov is from in them, in Islam, Nurmagomedov, or whatever those goddamn people's name is, Georgians and Dagestanis. He said in New York, they also consider those people white. I get it, but you're not really going to look at them and be like, yeah, it was that white man over here. Like, that's not the white man to us. When we talk about the white man, we're talking about the Anglo-Saxon type white man. We're not talking about the Dagestani. We're not talking about the Georgian. We barely got any history with those people in America. That's not the white man to us. The white man's the Irish, or the nigga from England, the Brits, and shit like that. Dutch, right? Those are the people we mainly talk about when we talk about the white man. But that's a whole different conversation. Anglo-Saxons relied on warfare to seize and maintain control and lordship over the land. This kind of domination was called imperium in Latin, while modern historians use dominion. Dominions helped leaders to ensure political success and social or religious harmony. Okay, so warfare to seize and maintain control and lordship over land is called imperium in Latin, or imperialism as we would call it in our time today. Let's go into it. So this is a part of Offa's dike showing the curve of the man-made ditch. 757 to 796 time frame. Shropshire, United Kingdom. Shropshire or Shropster, whatever, however you pronounce it, however they talk. Damn. Okay, Anglo-Saxon warfare. Aristocratic Anglo-Saxon men used war to maintain social order and to ensure their own powerful positions. While the nobles lived the warrior's way, those with a lesser or middle status, such as the Ceorl, had to wait until they were called to battle to earn prestige and honor. Now, I really wish Kareem was here and Marquise was here, because this is what we were just talking about with them the other day. The whole noble, Marquis meaning noble, right? And the nobles were the warriors. Alright. War bands were almost exclusively made up of teenagers and young men from 15 to 30 years old, whose will to prove themselves in combat resulted in fierce competition within the ranks. Their friendly rivalries with their brothers in arms were as vital to forging combat skills as the battles in which they faced a common enemy. Regular warfare was also a good way to keep a war band together. Such groups depended on victories and the spoils that came with them for survival. A successful campaign meant wealth, but also honor. Prestige and renown contributed massively to social status, and were some of the major ways a man could distinguish himself from his peers. Offa's Dyke, a ditch of earth distinguishing Welsh territories from Mercian ones, is a good example of a king exercising his control or dominion. According to folklore, King Offa of Mercia ordered the construction of the dike, a section of which can be seen in this image. So it's a ditch of earth distinguishing Welsh territories from Mercian ones. Okay. So let me go into this. Offa's Dyke. What the fuck is a dike? Dike in geology. There we go. Nope, that's not it. That's not what I was looking for. Nope, that's not what I was looking for. Okay. Let's go to Offa's Dyke. National Trails has it. And we could put that in... Dang. I kind of got to put in a different... I'm going to put it in science for now. I'm going to put that in science. A lot of people have a very narrow view of what science is. I think from the, what I see from the Pan-African perspective, science is constrained to DNA. Science is far more broad than that, but they like to use that to say science says. You know, it's bigger than that, and y'all know that. Dang, there's so much stuff in here. There's a lot of stuff in here. Alright, I'm gonna get back to the game a little bit. Let's talk to this dude. What's this right here? Religion and magic. Okay, I just unlocked another one. The church altar. Let's go into it since we're already here. Scoop up as much information as possible. So what is this here? This is an illustration of an altar surrounded by sacred beings and flanked by the English Queen Emma of Normandy, also known in England as Queen, I can't pronounce that, Elfgifu, but not to be confused as Canut's other wife, Elgifu of Northampton, and Canute the Great. This is from the 11th century. British Library in London, UK. See, we going in on this European history, y'all. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. I know for a long time everyone's thinking, he's only studying Islam. He's only studying Islam. Well, guess what? Now what you gonna say? I'm about to be studying Christian Europe. post post Roman Europe, medieval Europe now. We're never gonna stay stuck in a box. This is the round table for a reason. We go around the world. It's global, man. It's global. Alright. In the 4th century, the relics of important saints began to be placed in church altars. As depicted in this illustration, any ritual performed at those altars would share in the holiness of the saints whose relics they housed. While some altars were fixed, others could be moved. The main altar in Anglo-Saxon churches could nearly always be found against the wall of the outermost section of the building. This meant that the priest performing rituals would be facing away from the crowd of worshippers. His actions would be hidden from their view, which might suggest that they were sacred, restricted, a private communion between him and God. So, the outermost portion of a building. Alright, we're going to go speak to these witnesses. Let's talk to this lady right here. Excuse me, ma'am.
Sister, did you see who took the relic and the rest of the gold?
I saw nothing. Now leave me alone.
Damn, Judith. She rude as hell. She rude ass. Get out of here. Talk to this little tyke over there.
Young one, did you see anyone carrying items of gold from the chapel?
I saw some men in furs and armor hiding things under their cloaks. They were talking about leaving Chippenham at night and said the statue would be too heavy. Then they went to the big house next to the Great Hall.
You have done our Lord a tremendous service, child. Thank you.
See, the little ones, they not gonna lie.
What I found.
The little one's not gonna lie. Here we go. What's up, bro?
Tell me, brother. Did you see who stole from the chapel?
Don't ask me. Please, just go.
Damn! Rude ass. Hold on, what's this over here? Religion and magic. Christianization. There's a difference between conversion and Christianization. In conversion, one could recognize Christ as divine and keep one's heathen ways. Christianization involved a change in worldview and daily ritual. So that's like the difference between converting to Islam and being Islamized, right? So they're saying there's a difference between becoming Christian and becoming Christianized. One has to do, when you're converted, you recognize something, but when you're Christianized, you're changing your ways. You're changing the way you see the world. Let's go into that. So this is a triangular panel made from walrus ivory, possibly attached to a Christian shrine. So this is broken off. 10th century Winchester Museum in the Winchester, UK. We got a Winchester in Massachusetts as well. If I'm not mistaken, it's near Cambridge, and I know there's a Cambridge also over there in Europe as well, in the UK. So a lot of our place names is the same. And here we go. Let's get into that. Christianization. Through Christianization, Scandinavians would have adopted the following practices: fasting on Fridays and during Lent, having their children baptized, avoiding marriage with cousins, donating to churches, swearing by relics or religious objects like this ivory plaque, and more. Unlike conversion, which can occur quickly, these behaviors were slowly integrated into the community. It is possible that the Christianization of the Vikings began prior to their arrival in Anglo-Saxon Britain. Many Vikings came from places where they would have encountered Christian ideas and perhaps absorbed them. The Vikings' familiarity with Christianity might have smoothed their quick assimilation into the Anglo-Saxon population. I want to talk about something really quickly, because this makes me think, right? back to the whole Pan-African idea, or Afrocentrist ideology, right? Which would tell you something along the lines of what religion did to the black man. But why don't they talk about what religion did to the white man? It literally did the same thing to them as far as stripping their pre-existing culture. But we never hear it like that. Like, they became Christianized too. They weren't always Christian, as we're seeing here. Christianity came in, I believe with the Romans, right? And swooped across Europe. I gotta do more research on that. But I'm just saying, you know, we only have this idea that, yeah, it was religion that the white man came with religion. The white man got beat. The white man got beat upside the head himself with religion and Christianity. First. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the Christianization of Europe. They act like it was this thing where they all willingly converted to Christianity and said, now let's go to Africa. It didn't happen like that. I'm going to venture to say it didn't happen like that. Again, I'm going to do more research. But there were pre-existing cultures, and what I was looking for, the word I was looking for, people acting like the Europeans consented to the original cultures being uprooted and replaced with Christianity. So when we talk about what religion did to Africa, let's not forget the religious impact and implications in Europe first. And then the same thing goes for Islam. So instead of people blaming entire continents or entire quote-unquote races of people for things, how about you look at the empire that brought the shit first? Look at the empires that brought it first. Focus on the Roman Empire. Because the Romans are the one that spread that all throughout Europe. Through force. Through subjugation. Focus on the empires that brought it. Stop just saying, oh, white people, oh, Europeans did this. No, it was a very particular group that initiated it, that came with this, and forced their counterparts to convert as well, through force. I'm gonna shake the game up. I'm gonna shake the whole game up. People better start really coming with better arguments. All right, let's go holler at him up here.
My apologies, but did you happen to witness anyone exiting the church with items made of gold or silver?
Surely I did. Some Saxons came here and took everything they could, carrying it all off to the butcher's house, next to the market.
That seems strange. Good Christians would have no reason to take what is theirs already.
Are you questioning my honor?
Merely making an observation. Thank you for your candor. I need to find out what happened to the relic.
Alright, so we're doing some investigation right now. We're learning culture while playing the game. Living life, enjoying life. Some people don't want to see that. What's this right here? Another, pick up some more information, huh? Ooh, it's saying the Dark Ages were only dark in name. Coloring the world. Alright, so I'm gonna save that one for later. That's fire though. Dang, there's so much information in this game, man. Look at this, there's more up here. Daily life. Vikings usually raided during the summer. They would sail the seas and come back home in time to harvest their crops. Sometimes, however, they needed to find shelter abroad for the winter months. That's fire. So we're picking up more information. I gotta get all this information. All of it. There's another one over here. Move out the way. Let me pet the dog real quick. Look like a husky. Alright, here we go. Let's get some more information. There's another one over here. Alright, here we go. What's this one? Daily life, Chippenham. The community of Chippenham in Wiltshire likely began as a Roman settlement. It was occupied by Anglo-Saxons in the 7th century and captured by Vikings in the 9th. See, I gotta give credit to Marquise, because Marquise always talked about study Rome, man. You gotta study Rome, man. Studying Rome, right? So at some point, we're gonna have to study Rome. We're gonna have to go back to the Romans. We're gonna have to. Ancient Rome. It's all gonna make sense how we got to where we are today. Alright, let's continue on a little bit. See if I can get in this building and continue this investigation and pick up more information.
Went to the big house next to the Great Hall.
How do I get in there? Is there a door on the side? Oh, this is an investigation area. Okay, so here we go. I gotta get inside here. Alright, I don't know how to get in there right now. Let's try this one. Here we go.
I need to check the butcher's house. These people have nothing, not even filing. I'll find no hidden relic here.
Did he even investigate that? Alright, let's get up out of here now. It's not even letting me do the quest. Investigate the big hall next to the big house next to the Great Hall. Alright. The big house next to the Great Hall. Let's go over here. I gotta find a way inside this building. Investigate the clues. Alright, get inside this building. Gotta be a window somewhere. Man, I can't find a way inside. Alright, in the meantime, let me get some more information, man. Go back to learning. So there's a total of 153 different, basically, categories. Not categories, sections of information to pick up. Damn, there's so much in here, man. It's not even funny. Let's talk about this Christianization. Did I read this already? Why was it? Yeah, I read this one. Alright, the church altar. I read this one too. Yep, I read this one as well. Alright, I read the religion and magic section already. Let me pick up at least one more piece of information. We read about military leadership. We read about kin and household. I didn't read this one though. So a familiar background. This is an artistic map created by Ubisoft. Alright, it's not an actual historical map. Showing the principal trajectories of Viking raids made in the Kingdom of Wessex. Alright. By the time of Guthrum's incursion, Scandinavians were no longer strangers to the land of Anglo-Saxon England. Years of contact with the locals had given them knowledge far beyond what was gathered by the first raiders through coastal trading and scouting. So years of contact with the locals had given them knowledge far beyond what was gathered by the first raiders. Okay. What's more, the Scandinavians had settled in England, many of them now called the kingdom's home. The younger members of the community had grown up in conquered or pacified kingdoms. This meant that they were very familiar with the languages, customs, and religion of the territory. This map shows the principal routes taken by the Vikings during their raids on the Kingdom of Wessex. Each colored zone represents a kingdom. In the red, which is over here, is East Anglia. The yellow, which is the centerpiece, is Mercia. Green, which is the southern piece, is Wessex. And each number corresponds to a specific location. So I told y'all there's a Cambridge in Massachusetts. It's right next to Boston. Some people consider it Boston, but it's not. If y'all know the rapper Millie's, the white boy with all the tattoos, he's from Cambridge. And people in Boston done pressed him so much that now he will willingly say, I'm not from Boston, I'm from Cambridge. But it's literally right next to it, but it is a different city. Cambridge is very hipster, very just, you find like it has a lot of feminine energy in Cambridge to me. But it's very like artistic type of place, but it's kind of like that hipster type of vibe and shit that you get with like young, hip white girls or black people that are, I don't want to say like, I don't know how to really describe it, man. Just hipster is like the only way I could describe it. I'm not saying that as a bad thing, but it is what it is. Reading, we also have that here. So look, Wareham, we have that in Massachusetts. Exeter, I think, is in New Hampshire. Gloucester, we have that in Massachusetts. So we have Reading, Cambridge, Wareham, Exeter, and Gloucester. We got 5 of those that's on this list. We got them in Massachusetts. There's probably more. Like, we might have a Thetford somewhere in Massachusetts that I just don't know of. My knowledge of Massachusetts is really eastern and central. Western Mass is a little bit different. You're going towards, like, upstate New York. So I don't really know a ton about it. I know a little bit about it. Just a little bit. Oh, Kareem, you're late to the party, man. You're late to the party. Studying Europe, Kareem. But nice to see you, brother. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. So each number corresponds to a specific location. Each arrow constitutes Viking troops movement done in the 870s. So I'm not going to follow this too deeply. I don't want to follow it too deeply. Let's get another category. So I think we done cleared this war and politics section. I only got 6 out of 32 opened. We could go in a little bit more in the daily life. So let's go into the free women. What's the free women? Free women in medieval Scandinavia were the pillars of their households. Among many other tasks, they were responsible for their household's economy and kept a watchful eye on their clan's reputation. So this is a pair of Scandinavian keys. Wow, look at that. That's awesome right there, huh? That's interesting. These are Scandinavian keys right here. Wow, okay. Women wore keys like, women wore keys like these at their hips to symbolize their authority. As the keepers of hearth and home, women were responsible for keeping both home fires, the cooking fire, and the vital force of the family burning strong and bright. If the latter fire went out, the harmony of the clan would be threatened. For this reason, the hearth was sometimes associated with Yggdrasil, the cosmic tree and the pillar that upheld the order of the universe. If the home fire flickered or Yggdrasil crumbled, order and harmony would shatter. So women wore keys like these at their hips to symbolize their authority. Okay. So it's talking about the role of women. And y'all do me a favor, man. Hit the like button. Support the channel. Support the channel. I think I got one of the best channels in these YouTube spaces when it comes to authentic learning and creative ways to learn. What else we want to learn about? We want to learn about nutrition on board on a voyage. You know what? And I think this is interesting to go into because so often I hear what we call the black aboriginals or the black Indians. They talk about conditions on board these voyages, right? How did the slaves survive? I don't believe that, right? But I don't think a lot of research has been done on it enough to cast judgment. So let's do some research on it instead of jumping out the window with no parachute, as they would say, right? Let's go into it. Let's go to conditions on board, right? We're gonna start with this. So this is a bird's eye view of a reconstructed longship and crew on the River Trent in England. This is from contemporary times, courtesy of Ubisoft, right? So conditions on board. Longships had an open deck. The distance between the keel and the floor was relatively short, usually less than 1 meter. This meant that supplies had to be stacked around the crew. So did the equipment, which included oars, weapons, and anything else the sailors would need during their travels or once they reached land. All of these items left the crew with very little room to move around, as can be seen in this photograph. Okay, so this is supposed to be kind of a representation of what it may have been like. I'm not seeing a ton of items. I see some along the side here. And stored. Okay, and stored over here. I see the shields and whatnot. Okay. Sleeping conditions depended on the type of travel undertaken. During short voyages or river journeys, the crew would pull the boat ashore and sleep on land. For long-distance ocean crossings, crew members would be forced to sleep on their bench or on the floor. A canvas could be stretched over the crew, forming a tent that would protect them as well as possible from the weather while providing them with a roof under which to rest. Okay, so long distance they would sleep on the damn boat. And you sleep on your bench. Is this a draker? I don't know what that is. What's a draker? Or draker, Kareem? It says this is a longship, a reconstructed longship and crew on the River Trent in England. Alright, that's what that is, Kareem. So that's conditions on board. Let's go to nutrition on board. And just anyone listening, what's going on now in this halakha, a circle? We are exploring medieval Europe now. I can only imagine the people thinking for the past couple months, oh, he only studies Islam. Man, I go everywhere. But I just dive deep into it. You know what I mean? So we're going to dive deep into Europe now. This is how I like to build my content. This is how I like to build my knowledge base. I got books and I got my game. This is how I do it. I don't see nobody else doing it like this. So this is a fresh meal and reconstituted wares between two crossings. So we're going to talk about nutrition on board these longboats and the ships. Well, we call them longboats. So water and sometimes alcohol were the first provisions to be brought on board. Generally, the sailors' diet revolved around non-perishable foods such as hard bread, dried fish, or dried meat. Perishable items such as fruits or vegetables were added to the menu when possible. However, they spoiled quickly and could only be replenished where stocks of such supplies existed. In other words, where sailors could find them in nearby settlements or by foraging on the land. On short sea or river routes, sailors would go ashore to fill up on food. Since cooking with fire was possible on land, the crew could enjoy a good hot and fresh meal like the one depicted here. On the high seas, however, the reality was quite different. Alright, so that's conditions on the ships, on the boats. So that was nutrition and conditions. Like, how about we go into household slaves now, right? We're going to talk about these slaves. European slavery. So we got chains here, chains and cuffs. This is from the Viking Age. National Museum of Denmark in Copenhagen. We get a good look at it here. We got a nice key or scale down here. Alright. So here we go. Household slaves. I never really hear anything about the household slaves in Europe. These chains may have been used to restrain newly arrived slaves, some of whom would have been traded in markets or captured in raids. If a child was born to a slave, it was the social status of the mother, rather than the father, that was passed to the newborn. Sometimes slaves could regain or buy their freedom. So that's interesting, right? We always talk about the child as the seed of the father, seed of the father, seed of the father, right? In these Abrahamic conditions. But we're looking at this context where, and even when I think of Mauritania, if the mother is a slave, the children she bears are going to be slaves. I believe that's correct. Okay, so if a child was born to a slave, it was the social status of the mother rather than the father that was passed to the newborn. Sometimes slaves could regain or buy their freedom. A bondi, or freeman, could also, under extreme circumstances, renounce his status in order to sell himself and his family as slaves. This was notably the case of slavery for debt, where an indebted individual gave up his freedom until he had paid back what he owed, at which point he and his family would be free once again. Now, we also seen that as being the case in West Africa as an avenue of slavery, enslavement, debts. And I think that might also be the reality in Islamic context as well. Is that correct, Kareem? In Islamic context, if you owe a debt, could you sell yourself into slavery, or did Prophet Muhammad outrule that? He may have gotten rid of that. He may have gotten rid of that. No clue? Okay, all good. I think that's something he got rid of, actually. Now we go into the free women. Oh, okay. Free women, then household slaves. Got it. Okay. Got it. Don't think so? A lot of war? No. What I'm saying is Prophet Muhammad, he came with the law that said that you cannot sell yourself into slavery. Watch, let me find it. I got you, bro. Selling self into slavery. Islam. Let's see what it comes up. I'm pretty sure Muhammad got rid of that. Yep, here we go. A free person could not sell himself or his children into slavery. Neither could a free person be enslaved due to debt or as punishment for a crime. Non-Muslims living under Muslim rule, known as dhimmi, could not be enslaved. So I'm going to drop this for you. Well, actually, let me just I could just copy and paste that right there. Oh man, it's too. Hold on. It's too long. The message is too long. Let me try to shorten it. I'm gonna shorten the message and just drop that. Hold on. Let's see. I'll put it on this one. It's my other channel. Oh man, the message is too long. Alright, never mind. The message is too long. Yeah, never mind. Alright, anyway. Let me see if I can find it. But basically what it's saying is that if you're free, you can't sell yourself into slavery. And free people can't be enslaved for debts or for what's it called? Punishment, basically. Alright, what else do I want to go into? So yeah, my character right now is this friar dude. And I'm trying to get into this building. I don't know how to get into this building. So this is the investigation area. I don't know how to get in here though. Investigate the big house next to the Great Hall. Alright, let me just go get this, gonna unlock all the fucking, the facts. There we go. So Anglo-Saxon homes were built using different techniques but shared the same three materials: timberwood, wattle, and daub. So this is a modern reconstruction of an Anglo-Saxon wooden house. Builders like to use oak because it was solid and widely available. Wattling was a technique whereby small branches were braided together to form solid wooden panels. Daub was a mixture of earth, clay, and animal dung. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, this is England. This is England. Daub was a mixture of earth, clay, and animal dung. It was used to fill the gaps between the timber or to provide a solid surface for the panels. People's houses and living conditions varied according to their social status. The common people would live in wooden huts like this one. They would use the same space for cooking, eating, socializing, and sleeping. A wealthier member of the community would likely have a bigger house. It might include a hall as its common area, and the family would sleep in a separate building. Yeah, this is during medieval times. The actual game, it's set around, like, I believe, like 893, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm pretty sure, like, the time frame is a little flexible. But from what I remember, I think it's, put it this way, Kareem, it's during the similar time frame as the other game. So when we were in Baghdad, it's roughly the same time period. Ooh, if a tree is in the game and no one is around to see it, does it really exist? Landscape in England. Yeah, this is just basically an overlap time frame with the other game. Because no, not before, this is after. Because the main character in this game are Norse. So I'm playing with the Norse. Well, I don't want to say Norse because that's a region. But yeah, the Northerners, right? The main character in the game is a Viking. You play as a Viking in this game, and you go on raids. Like, I'll show you. I'll show you. Get out of here. Quit to title screen. So, damn, it started the whole damn game over. It is what it is, though. Oh, man. I didn't think it was gonna do all that. I thought it was just gonna take me back to the main menu. Now it's gonna take me back to the whole opening. But it turns out I just learned that I'm not gonna be able to play the Japan game until I update and get the PS5 because I'm still playing on the P4. I know I seem like a heavy gamer, but I still got the old stuff, the old ass system. So until I get a P5, I can't play that Japan game, but that's fine because I still got to beat this one and go through all the details in this game. So it is what it is. No Japan. The actual nobility are descendant of what? Guillaume, the conqueror who attacked from Normandy, France. Norman are Vikings that settled in France. Okay. Yeah, I think I've heard something like that before. Because we know that there were 3 groups, right? One went west, one went south, one went east. So I believe the Scandinavians went east, right? The Danes went south, right? And then the Norwegians went west toward Greenland, Iceland, and all that. I think that's it. So the Scandinavians went east into Eastern Europe. The Danes even made it. They went down through France to Iberia, and even toward Italy. They were around the Mediterranean. And then you got the Norwegian. So this is my main character right here. She's not really dressed like a Dane right now. Look like she got some Roman stuff on, but I could change her outfit to her standard Danish outfit. Why the heck is she staring like that? What the hell? She ain't never did that before. Look at the faces she's making. Yo, this game's tweaking. Hold on. Yeah, she's tweaked out. She's possessed by the djinn. She got that djinn spirit on her, man. But this is the game I was telling the brother about yesterday. I forget his name, the German dude. I forget his name. But this is the game, man. It takes forever to beat. I done put over 100 hours in this game. I already know I did. I'm gonna show y'all in a second. But the amount of weapons and different, like, all the gear that you earn is crazy in this game. Alright, so here we go. So I'll show you everywhere you could go in here, right? Now look. Well, first of all, let's check how many hours I put on this game, and it's still not done yet. Oh, it's too late. Never mind. I can't check it now. Alright, so let's go to the world. So right now I'm in the Isle of Skye. I'm basically in Hey Kareem, what's on top of damn. This is the northern part of I don't want to say the United Kingdom because yeah. What's the northern part of the UK? What's that country that's on top of it? Let me see. Is it Scotland? I think I'm in Scotland. Isle of Skye. Let me see. Isle of Skye. What the hell is the Isle of Skye? Yeah, Scotland. So right now I'm in Scotland, right? This is Scotland. However, look, I could go to England. I could go to Norway. I could go to Finland with the Native Americans. I could go to France. I could go to Ireland. And not only that, I could go to the mythical worlds in the Viking mythology. So I could go to, what's it called? What's their damn... I could go to Valhalla and all those different worlds that they believed in. I could also go there. So, like, for example, I'll show y'all the Native Americans. Let's go. I showed it before, but we're going to go back. We're going to go back to the Native American lands. Yeah, if y'all wondering, I'm not tired. I took a nap today. Asgard. That's right, Kareem. Asgard is one of them. Yeah, yeah, Asgard. And then there's like different layers. Like I forget. Look at the outfit. See, now I'm wearing the Native American outfit. This is fire. Yo, I love this game, man. I love this game. I love the Mirage game in Baghdad. And the Egypt game was so fire. Kareem, you wasn't subscribed yet when I was playing the Egypt one, but the Egypt one, damn, that game was good, man. That game was so good. Look, she got the feathers and everything. And I intentionally chose to play as a female character, just because I like female warriors. I like that whole idea. I think it's cool. But this girl, she's bisexual. In the damn game, she go both ways. She's like masculine. She's a masculine woman. She's not a girly girl at all. So look, all right, let's see if I can find some Native Americans. And this is a settlement, a Viking settlement here. I don't think she's a Mohican. I don't think. Oh, I'm sorry.
He is tall. His hair is like
I don't think this has to do with the Mohicans, because Kareem, this is in North America. So let me see if I can show the map now. Oh, it's not even. You can't really see it, but look, it says Vinland, which I believe is Greenland. It's either Greenland or what's the other one? Iceland. But I think this is Greenland. Let me see. Well, actually, in history, they don't exactly know what Vinland was, but they suspect. They try to guess what it was, basically. So I want to find some Native Americans. Hold on. Where's the Native Americans at? We're going to find them. So this is the Americas. And one thing I want to show when I get back on my computer and do a live, maybe tomorrow, whenever the hell else. I was talking to Truist about how the way we look at the map kind of determines what we think was humanly possible as far as voyaging. And because we are trained to look at the map one way, we don't realize that if you turn it to like have the northern pole face you, you see how all these different continents are really just a ways apart. The pole is the only thing that's separating them, what we call the pole, right? There's really nothing physical there. It might be an ice cap or something up there. But if you ride along the coast, you can get to a different continent a lot quicker than having to travel across an ocean. If that makes sense. You know, they settled in Labrador, Canada. Okay.
A lonely end. Luck skipped his turn.
So there's someone that fell down there. Let me see if I want to find the Native Americans. I know there's one right here because there's a shop right here. Alright, we're going to go to the Native American shop. I got to do more research on the Mohicans. You might be right about that. Let me see. Who are the Mohicans? Mohican. I know Mohegan. Like here, we call it. There was a casino called Mohegan Sun, or something like that. And then the Connecticut Suns, which is the WNBA team, got named after that. I'm pretty sure that's how they did it. All right. So, for example, this dude right here is a Native American. What the hell did he just say? See, I wish I had a Native American and I could ask them, yo, did you understand anything that he just said? Even one word. If you could, that's fire. If you could understand something. Let's see if he says something.
I'll see you later, friend.
So that's one Native American. Where are the rest of them? Honestly, there's not a lot to do here. It's kind of a short stay. you briefly go here and then you move on in the game. But look, there's some, look at these stones over here. So this is Viking culture, or Nordic culture. Let's see if I can solve this.
Here I, Brendan of Clonfert, servant of our Lord, to make my final inscription before this holy fount of light. My journey is ended. For 2 and some years have I heeded the inner voice of my Lord, and followed it to this place, to receive his word. I have seen the gate with its ancient markings. I have heard the voice of his angel, calling me beloved. Yet, the way did not open. His voice yet calls to me still, in blissful forms, torturous to me.
Alright, that's enough, dude.
Yet, the way remains
Shut up, man.
closed. My way forward is
Alright, so
uncertain.
in the game you got these puzzles, right? You see these little rune symbol things? I gotta basically align them. And because of the way they're oriented, I could tell I have to use the bird.
I need your eyes, my friend.
Sunan. The bird's name is Sunan. So basically I gotta look at it from the proper perspective and angle. And once I do that, it'll unlock something. So, and sometimes these are tricky. I have to look up tutorials to like figure it out. So let me go back, because the clue is the symbol that was on the rock. So let's look at it again. So it needs to look like that, right? Y'all see that, these crisscrossing rhombus type shapes? I gotta make that same shape from above.
What do you see, Sunan?
So, let me see. I gotta get the right perspective to be able to do it. So that's not it. It looks like, okay, it looks like I need to go over in this direction. And then, yeah. Is it this direction? No, because that part disappeared. So yeah, the game's filled with like puzzles and stuff like that. I'm not gonna do this right now. I'm just not doing it right now. Little quest puzzles and side missions fill this game. And that's all I really have left to do in the Americas. I gained all the wealth here, which is a part, you know, you gotta go raid and all of that stuff. So I pretty much did all of that. The other place is France and Ireland. France is interesting because at this time, France is very poor. Yeah, I'll try France. France is very poor and destitute at this time. And people are sick, there are infestations and everything. What would you say? Wondering if it takes you to Normandy? Yeah, the Normans are in this game. I remember it being, yeah, I'll bring up the map in a second. Why is she doing this weird face thing? She never does this. And that looked like the Jinni right there. She possessed, Kareem. Oh, I know what's going on. She's supposed to be striking, but she's frozen. And she's doing the facial expressions, but she's not swinging the damn tool. There we go. So those would be the faces she's making while she's doing all this stuff. That's what it was. Another thing I've been studying too is I've been looking at medieval armor. I've been watching videos on medieval armor and whatnot as well. And just overall medieval technology. Been basically just studying a whole bunch of medieval history. Let me see, what is our modern times called? What are our modern times called? That's what I want to know. You know how we had like the Renaissance, medieval and all that? Our modern times are called, well, duh, the modern era, duh. I think later it'd be called something with technology Oh, information age. Yeah, I've heard the information age. I like that one too. All right, so here we are, Kareem. We're in France, right? You said you want to go to Normandy. Paris is here, or at least what Paris was at this time, right? It was just this little. Is this still the size of Paris today, Kareem? This little square area? And is it surrounded by water? Is that accurate? I don't really know Europe like that. The geography and whatnot. So you got Amiens, Paris, Melonnois. What else you got? Everson. I'm probably saying all these wrong. I'm saying with an English accent, so bear with me on that. But I know Norman something is in the game. It's called France Island. It's called France Island, Isle de France. I don't know. Les îles, how do you say that? Near England. Oh, okay. So that means it would be toward the north. Nah, the farthest north I could go is Amiens. So this is a small, but this has to do with the conquest of Normandy. I know it does. Melun, the Sequana River, burial mounds. You got the bridge, Sequana River, the Oisa River, Samara River, Sequana River again. All right, let's get some more information. Let's go to the Codex. Oh, I can't do it from here. Oh, that's interesting. Wait. Yes, I can. Ha! Okay, here we go. Damn, there's so much information in this game. This is a whole different codex from the other thing I was doing. Wow. So now we got region. Wow, this game is non-ending, man. This is a complete different codex. So the last one had, I forget how many. It was like 140 something maybe. This one has 118, 150. This one has over 200, almost 250. So let's talk about, maybe we could do some geography. All right, let's go to regions. Wow, this is crazy, man. So we just left Vinland. You talked about Asgard. This is insane, bro. Let's go to Francia. Here we go, Kareem. This one for you, man. Now, oh, damn. What did I just do? All right, Francia. All right. So it says Francia. Over centuries, following the fall of the Roman Empire, Rome became unhappy with the growing power of Constantinople in the east. So, in 795 AD, the Western bishops cheekily named Leo III Pope in the West. On Christmas Day, 800 AD, Leo crowned a reluctant Charlemagne as Emperor of the Romans, sealing the deal and forever splitting Christendom into East and West. The collection of Christianized tribes Charlemagne already ruled became the new kingdom of Francia. Abbo of Cernus, or Cernu, when describing the siege of Paris in 885 AD, would have us believe Francia was God's kingdom on earth, that its pope alone spoke for God, and its king battled demonic hordes of Norse on behalf of all heaven. But then nothing about that tricky little Benedictine monk was straightforward. So the siege of Paris, that's 885. And then you got a mention of Constantinople, which I know is Constantine, city of Constantine, or place of Constantine, palace of Constantine, Constantinople, whatever the opal is. Okay, I got to get more into that history of Constantinople. I don't really know it that much, to be honest. But that's when I go into studying Rome and whatnot, you know. Istanbul, Turkey. Oh, that's Constantinople? Istanbul, Turkey. Okay, that makes sense. Turkey. So Rome became unhappy with the growing power of Constantinople, which was Turkey in the east. Modern day Turkey. Perfect. Now that makes sense. Because Turkey was always on that buffer line, like separating the east from the west. Sometimes Turkey is considered Europe. Sometimes it's not considered Europe. But I think it's literally in both, quote unquote, Europe and, quote unquote, the Middle East. Like it kind of splits both in a way, geographically. But culturally, honestly, culturally, the nations in that region seem to have aspects of both Christianity and Islam, whether it's Syria, Lebanon. I don't know about Christianity in Turkey. It probably is there too. But those nations seem to have a influence of both. Oh, it was Christian before the Turks invaded. And the Turks come from where? Do they come from the steppes? The Asian steppes? I believe they come from the Asian steppes. So these are the other regions I was talking about. Niflheim, Jotunheim, Asgard. You brought that up, Kareem. Asgard. All of that is here. We got all of that. Look how they spelled London. 9th century London was in a transitional period. It was largely abandoned by Christians, believing the ruins of the old Roman city to be haunted. But the grand architecture proved to be a great shelter and landmark, so the site was used by the Summer Army during their occupation. So we got all this European history in here, all of it. Now, I know it's not as spicy, it's not as exciting as some of the Islamic history, but I just feel like learning it is going to put a lot of pieces to the puzzle together, and then also going into study Rome. Rome is really going to tie it together. And Marquise been telling me, you got to study ancient Rome, man. You got to study them Romans, man. Look, we got the Irish in here as well. Look, these are the Irish people. And we got their history. So there's so much in this game, it's not even funny, man. Like, this is an entirely different codex. Shouts out to Ubisoft. Shouts out to Assassin's Creed and the makers of this game for putting a plethora of history. They created a game for history lovers, people who love action as well, combat, warfare. The game is amazing. And then it breaks down the difference between a Viking, Saxon, Britons, Picts, Jotnar, which are mythical, Norse mythology, Zealots. Man, look at all the information in here. Look at all of it. Look, here we go. Vinland. We just left Vinland. By most historic accounts, the Norse reached Vinland around AD 1000, led by Leif Erikson. And I learned that Leif Erikson was the son of Eric the Red. But I think that's correct. But the Order of the Ancient knows better. So where exactly was Vinland? West of Greenland, to be certain. Okay, so Vinland wasn't Greenland. It was beyond Greenland, west of Greenland. But the sagas also mention Helluland and Markland too. It was possibly in modern-day Newfoundland or further to the south. Scholars continue to debate. So where did these Vikings go? They went beyond Greenland, that's for sure, but where exactly was it? And we know this from the sagas, and I think there's some archaeological evidence that was left behind to corroborate the sagas, because you can't just go by one source, right? You need to corroborate the sources, right? They found recently settlement in Newfoundland. Newfoundland. Yeah, it said here it was possibly in modern day Newfoundland or further to the south. Okay. Man, when I first got on this game, I could play this game all day long. And then I realized I could be playing all day long for a lot of days because this game doesn't end. The game doesn't end. Alright, Norway. Norway is home to a people as beautiful and harsh as the unforgiven land that birthed them. Its frozen fields, majestic mountains, and fathomless fjords are the setting for deeds desperate and heroic, made famous through sagas and song. Not a bad start for a novel, is it? Saving this one for later. So apparently Norway has some harsh, what do you call it? Not land, that's too simple. Yeah, a harsh landscape, whatever the damn word I'm looking for. Can't remember the word right now. Then you got Winchester. I'm not really interested in none of that. Okay. I'm about to get off soon. Oh, look, Kareem. Basim. I told you he's in this game, right? So this is the same character from the Assassin's Creed Mirage. The Muslim brother from Baghdad. He's in this game. So his name is Basim ibn Ishaq. Basim ibn Ishaq. Or Ishaq. So a common first impression of Basim is a mixture of danger and intrigue. Soon thereafter, one might get the sense of someone thinking several moves ahead. In fact, he is likely playing an entire different game. Basim met Sigurd Styrbjornsson on the same day he received a contract for a prominent player from the prince's homeland. And by the way, Basim is he's fictional. But so it says he met Sigurd. He knew the gods had favored him, but he didn't care which. As mysterious and seemingly aloof as the shadowy brotherhood he represents, Basim's ultimate goal is unknown even to his protege, Hitham, who is closer to him than anyone still living. So I forget where I met Basim in this game. I don't know if it was Norway or somewhere else, but he's in Europe. There's a movie with Antonio Banderas, The 13 Cavaliers or something. Okay, since we're getting into European history, one thing I was becoming more interested in, Kareem, is that cross-cultural contact that we were talking about. And Banderas plays an ambassador to the Viking. Is Banderas, does he play a Moor or something? Who is he? Tonight I was gonna play Othello by Shakespeare. There's like a stage play where we could, watch it and not just hear it, because I've been doing the audiobooks lately. Oh, he's from Baghdad. Ooh, that's fire. Let me see if it's on YouTube. 13 Cavaliers. I know YouTube will shut that down so fast. Antonio Banderas. 13th Warrior Horse Challenge scene. 13th Warrior? Is that what it's called? 13th Warrior? I don't see 13 Cavaliers. I've seen something. It keeps on showing up 13th Warrior or something like that. Let me see. Is it 13th Warrior? Yeah, the 13th Warrior. That's what it is. You gotta buy it. It's from 1999. It came out. 1999 movie. Hey, Spiderface, I tried to use that link. That link got too many ads and pop-ups on it for the movies that you're using it. So I gotta find another way without all the ads. I gotta find another way. It looks like Will Smith is in a new 300 movie. Is this real? They're mad because he's playing a Spartan, but and people are saying this is a slap in the face. Like they're really mad that Will Smith is in this. But from my understanding, there were blacks a part of the Roman army. But this looks like it's angering a lot of people. I don't know if this is real or not. It looks like it might be, but I'm not sure if this is AI generated or if this is a real movie that's coming out. Let me see. I can no longer tell if this is the video created by AI or real. Yeah. Oh, it's AI. It's AI. It looked like AI to me. See, you gotta be careful with this AI shit, man. This AI stuff, man. 300 was before Rome. Gotcha. See, that shows how much I know. I don't know enough, Kareem. I don't know enough. But yeah, that was an AI thing, man. This AI stuff is getting out of control. It kind of looked real, but you know, you probably heard me. I'm like, hey, I can't tell if it's AI or not. And then I checked the comments, and someone else said it's AI. So you gotta be careful with this AI stuff. This is why, like, I don't even want my likeness on the internet anymore. People could do weird stuff. So look, we got Thor. Where's Thor at? Thor has a somewhat less complicated view of the world than his father, Odin. Power quests and politics have less appeal than the more satisfying activities of eating, drinking, and fighting. Thor is not afraid to die at Ragnarok, for he knows his end will be glorious. He loves his wife, Sif, deeply and will murderously defend her honor at any given opportunity. Sometimes, when bored, he actively seeks out such opportunities. I'm starting to grow to really appreciate mythology as much as I do history, because I see that they go together when you want to learn more about a people's culture and their background. Alright, so I'm going to close this out. I've been out here for 2 hours. It's getting late. It's been fun. And y'all remember to hit the like button, support the channel. And we'll do it again tomorrow. Peace out, y'all.